Hello again, everyone. Chris Matthew with Forbidden Knowledge News. Today, I am happy to welcome Richard Doty. He served in the Air Force Office of Special Investigations as a counterintelligence officer for 10 years. During his counterintelligence days, he was briefed into the U.S. program which investigated UFOs and extraterrestrial contact. During his time at AFOSI, he was assigned to the Groom Lake complex, where he had access to and worked on highly classified projects involving UFOs and UAPs and extraterrestrial entities. He is now a private citizen living in New Mexico and is a researcher of a wide variety of things, including UFOs and historical events in New Mexico, including ghost towns, Roswell, and remote locations of paranormal activity. Mr. Doty, welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Great to be on your show.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I'm really looking forward to your presentation in Laughlin and meeting you and meeting all of you, of course, but this is going to be fascinating. You actually were assigned to Area 51 or the Groom Lake Complex for a little while, and you're going to be disclosing a little bit of information about that. So I'm really stoked to hear that, and I'd love for you to give us just a little preview of what you're going to be talking about.
Well, I'm going to talk about some investigations I conducted while I was there. One particular one involved a family, the Norris family, that had a very strange event occurred. They were subject of this strange happening while they were traveling from Ely, Nevada to the Death Valley on a vacation. And they were unfortunately delayed by an extraterrestrial contact. I'm going to talk about that. And I'm going to talk about how the HAB Blue or the F-117 project, which was highly classified back in those days, intermingled with that particular incident involving the Norris family. It's going to be a great presentation. I have 75 minutes to present it. Hopefully I'll get all of it done and all through. And there's a couple other aspects of my assignment at Groom Lake Complex or Area 51 that I'd like to mention. Some highly classified things that are no longer classified or may still be classified, but I'm not really worried about it because my non-disclosure agreement with the United States government is over with now. So I can talk about most everything.
Wow, that's really cool. Now, lately, we've heard a lot of talk from our mainstream media about UFOs, the Pentagon releases. We're going to have some more information supposedly coming up in June. I'd like to get your thoughts on this. Why do you think now, and especially, since the 2017 Times article ticked up, but in 2020, it seemed to really pick up with this kind of slow drip disclosure coming from our own government and media. Why do you think it's happening now?
Well, I think one hand doesn't know what the other hand's doing with the government. The government knows about this. There's hundreds, probably thousands of us still alive out there that have been involved in the subject matter since the late 70s, early 80s. I personally know a good number of them that are still alive and that were involved with the program. And I'm sure there's still some alive that was involved back in the 60s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. I know a couple, just a few. But the phenomena isn't new. It started in 1947 at Roswell, and it occurred hundreds of times over the last 40 or 50 years. And the government knows about it. The government has extraterrestrials under glass, so to speak, and they have captured ET flying crafts. And I'm going to talk about one of those at the UFO convention. So the government knows about it. Now, why now in 2021, there's so much talk about disclosure? I think there's a small branch of the government within the Pentagon that just learned about this back in 2017 or maybe 2016. And now they, not knowing what the rest of the government has, wants to get this out. And I think it's going to be a slow disclosure process beginning probably within the next 6 to 8 months. Are they going to tell us everything the government has? No, I don't think so. A lot of it's still highly classified. And there's some aspects of our contact with extraterrestrials that I won't talk about. But just the fact that we have had contact, we have captured some crafts, and these crafts are from other worlds, should be disclosed to the public.
Oh, yeah, I definitely agree. Now, I know this is going to be part of your presentation, so I don't want you to give away too much, but you've actually were able to see with your own eyes craft and extraterrestrial entities?
Yes. Yes, I did. During my time there, I had the occasion, or I was fortunate enough, or unfortunate, however you want to look at it, to see some things that one particular thing I saw that I probably wouldn't want to see again. I had actual face to face with an ET, but there's a lot of technology out there in Area 51 and also at Tonopah Air Force Base or within the Nellis Test and Training Range that involves ET and ET technology and reverse engineering that I had witnessed to. And this was back in the 80s. Now you can just imagine if we were reverse engineering highly technical technology from other worlds back in the 80s, just imagine what we have now today in 2021 and what the government is keeping secret and what the government is flying out there or testing out there. Now, my side of this thing, this disclosure and what the Navy pilots saw and what some Air Force pilots have now came out and disclosed. I think about 90% of those things that they're seeing are probably from another world. But I think there's about 10% out there that are our technology that we're testing, and we're flying these things out there to test our pilots. Know that the technology that we're testing is so advanced that they probably wouldn't be able to react to it in time to shoot it down. But we're testing their tactics, and on the other side of it, we're testing these highly classified crafts that we're trying to perfect in order to fly against our enemies.
It seems like in some ways they're trying to paint the UFO phenomenon as a threat. Now, I don't know if I necessarily see it that way. What are your thoughts? Do you think that they're a threat? Because it seems like if they were, they could have annihilated us a long time ago.
Absolutely, you're right. I think they're. It's hard to understand for most people what I'm about to say, but it's as if this highly advanced civilization, and I know that there's more than one race of ETs visiting Earth. Okay, we know it. I mean, thousands of people know this. It's not classified. It's not a hidden fact. So these various ETs that are visiting Earth, they have an agenda, but we as Earthlings can't understand their agenda. It's like us trying to understand the thinkings of an ant or an animal. You know, we can look at them, we can see what they're doing, but we can't understand what they're thinking if they are able to think, or what the reactionary manners are. We can't understand that. So what we as Americans are doing is looking at these ETs and saying, this is what we think they're doing. This is what we're thinking out there. We're only using our thought patterns as a human being to try to understand an extraterrestrial race, which isn't going to work. You know, their brains are so advanced that we can't possibly understand how they think or what their thought process is. So here we are trying to understand what they're doing, and they may be just looking at us as if we're a petri dish, and studying us. Or maybe, and this is tough for people to understand, and this is where the religious aspects come in, maybe they put us here. Maybe they put us here thousands of years ago, or hundreds of thousands of years ago, or maybe a million years ago, and watched us develop over these hundreds and millions of years. And now they see us, they see the civilization that has advanced so much, and they're still studying us. Maybe that's what they're doing. Or maybe there's some other agenda they have that we just can't understand.
Yeah,
but like you said, if they wanted to destroy us, they could have done that. If they were so advanced, they could have easily destroyed us, which obviously they haven't done.
Right. Yeah. And it did sometimes make me think that we very well could be some kind of experiment for extraterrestrials. It could be just as simple as that. Now, I'd like to know, before I let you go, do you think that we're going to get any profound information in June to come out of this document dump?
I still have a lot of contacts with the government, and I don't think we're going to get what we want to get.
Right.
I think we're going to get some things. There are, as I understand, it was hinted to the press, and it was told to me by an insider, somebody who's still working within the Defense Intelligence Agency. There's 6,000 hours of recordings, video recordings of pilots' contacts with UFOs or UAPs. We're not going to get all 6,000 hours of this. We're going to get probably maybe 20 to 30 more hours of it, but the really good stuff is still out there. And the contacts, the ground contacts that have been filmed, where we, either a military unit or some intelligence unit actually made contact with these things, and they recorded it, that we probably won't get that stuff, because that's gonna scare a lot of people. So I don't believe we're going to get that, but that information, those videos are out there.
That's really fascinating. And we definitely live in fascinating times. So I'm very interested. I'm going to be keeping a close eye, of course, on everything coming out. And, I'm sure you will as well. And I really look forward to meeting you in Laughlin. Now, for people that would like to find out more information about you and, some of the research you've done, is there a website that they can go to, or social media or anything like that?
Well, I had a website, but it was crashed, of course. There's some people don't think that I'm legitimate out there. I think I'm spreading disinformation, and it was hacked about a year and a half, 18 months ago. So I have a couple of email addresses, and I'd be more than happy to give them. I get hundreds of emails, and I try to answer every one of them. My first email address is Rick, RICK, DOTY 166 at msn.com. And the other one is Toppan, TOPPAN 166 at gmail.com. Those are the two emails they can get me, ask me questions, send me things that they want me to look at. And like I said, I get hundreds of emails a week. I try to answer most of them. Some of them are real negative, and I still try to answer those. I mean, if they're common sense questions and they're still on the negative side, I'll still try to answer those questions or those comments.
Very good. Well, like I said, I'm looking forward to meeting you in Laughlin. Definitely looking forward to hearing this presentation, and of course, meeting all of you. So it's going to be an amazing time. I really hope to see all of you there. This year's Laughlin UFO Mega Conference is going to feature over 36 scientists, researchers, and contactees. They're going to be presenting incredible disclosures over 7 days. You can now register for the full week, for half a week, or even by the day or session. And not only is there going to be over 36 amazing presentations, you're going to get a skywatch, meet and greets, and exclusive film screenings. And there's always going to be only one presentation at a time, so you don't have to miss anything. And did I mention that there's no longer any mask mandates in Nevada? So you can now enjoy this amazing 7-day conference mask-free. Just go to their website, LaughlinUFOMegaConference.com, and register now. Last year's conference was absolutely amazing. This year's is going to be even better. So join us for an incredible 7 days of education and disclosure at the Laughlin UFO Mega Conference.